So securing backup power or alternative energy is out of reach for most middle-class South Africans. This is according to a survey done by Debt Rescue. The debt counselling group polled more than 1,000 participants and found that 2/3 said power cuts have had a severe impact on their life. Annaline van der Poel is the Chief Business Development Officer at Debt Rescue, and she chats to us now. Thank you for joining us, Annaline. Looking at your survey, is it fair to suggest that most South Africans cannot afford backup power easily?
Absolutely. I mean, we can definitely say that there's so many contributing factors placing enormous strain on consumer budgets that to expect them to find alternatives and backup energy over and above what we're already paying for electricity is way beyond most people's means.
So, Annaline, your survey suggests that there are some small-scale measures, for example, a small UPS, that people have taken before making the big inverter purchase. What are they?
Well, exactly that. So if it's trying to keep the lights on, they have perhaps, looked at ways, for example, to keep the internet going at least. A lot of kids, for example, needs that to be able to do their schoolwork. For those who are streaming, perhaps their television. But, the other things that they have also done has been like turning to gas. And this could be anything from, a gas stove, a proper full-on stove, or even investing in these small little camping ones just for those cases of emergency when you need to heat something up. We've also seen people who have gone for, all the way right up to solar conversions. So I think it depends on what kind of budget they have available, but definitely people are making lifestyle changes, investing in energy efficient globes, rechargeable ones that at least remain on when the power goes off and so forth.
So only 16% of those you surveyed have converted to solar. If this reflects the general public, only a few people will go this route and will be able to afford this route.
Indeed. I mean, we know, depending on what kind of solar conversion you're doing, whether it's starting with just your geyser or trying to take your home off of the grid, it's an enormous option still. I know that they're obviously, as technology advances, the prices are becoming, slightly less. But for the average South African consumer who was already struggling to find the kind of funds to do a full-on solar conversion, it's an enormous additional layout to try and make up for the lack of electricity and the costs thereof.
So, Annaline, at your company, you're dealing with clients who have debt. How much is the rising electricity costs affecting them?
Massively. I mean, as can be seen from our survey that we've done, consumers have stated that most of them cannot, afford this increase, and they're going to have to make changes to their budgets or the way they use their electricity, etc. But we've got to put that, into the big picture and look at what South Africans are facing out there. And electricity is just another one of these items that have been added into their budget that has gone up because if you were to simplify a budget down to its absolute bare basics and you say on the one side, you have your living expenses, which is now, for example, your electricity, your food, etc. That side has gone up exponentially. We know we got our inflation figures this week again. Inflation is incredibly high, well outside the band set by the Reserve Bank in terms of what they would like to see. And on the other side, we've seen exponential interest rate increases, which is affecting the debt repayments. So consumers are being hit from all angles right now. And it really is, it's just another additional expense that's becoming incredibly unaffordable.
Are you expecting South Africans who struggle with debt, that number to become exponentially more?
Definitely. The reality is we're sitting with things like very high unemployment figures. We have, the rising cost of living in the form of inflation. And then we have the additional increases coming from, debt repayments in the form of the interest rate hikes. It's every single month, every single time we see one of these figures increase, we know it's placing massive strain. Food price inflation, 14%. It's really very, very difficult out there for consumers at the moment.
Thanks, Annaline. That was Annaline van der Poel, the Chief Business Development Officer at Debt Rescue.